The rebellion begins. One cold morning, the team is ready to go, but one dog is missing. It is Pike. He is a lazy dog, and he does not want to work. He is hiding deep under the snow. Francois is very angry. He looks everywhere, but he cannot find him. "Where is that lazy dog?" Francois shouts. "Pike, come out now!" Spitz, the leader, is also angry. He runs around the camp and smells the snow. He digs in every suspicious place. Suddenly, he finds Pike and pulls him out. Spitz is furious. He jumps at Pike to bite him and punish him. But suddenly, Buck jumps between them. He stands over Pike and shows his teeth to Spitz. He does not let the leader touch Pike. Francois sees this and laughs. "Look at Buck," he says to Perrault. "He is protecting the lazy one. He is not afraid of Spitz anymore." But Francois is the master. He must keep order. He takes his whip. "Get back, Buck," he shouts. He hits Buck with the whip to move him away. Buck doesn't want to go, but he finally moves. Pike looks at Buck. He sees that the big dog protected him. Now Pike feels brave. He starts to ignore Spitz because he knows Buck is on his side. Francois looks at the dogs and shakes his head. "Perrault, this is bad," he says. "This is a rebellion. Buck is showing the other dogs how to say no. They are not a team now because they don't listen to Spitz. Soon there will be a real war between them." "Let them fight," Perrault answers. "The strongest dog must lead, and I think Buck is ready." The next few days are very difficult. The situation between Buck, Spitz, and the team is getting worse. The dogs do not work together anymore. Only two dogs do not take part in this trouble. They are Dave and Solex. They are old professionals. They only want to pull the sled and sleep. Spitz does not touch them, and they do not care about Buck's rebellion. But all the other dogs are different now. They are not afraid of Spitz. They are messy, they fight, and they do not listen to orders. Francois sees everything. He knows that Buck is the reason for this no. "Look at them, Perrault," Francois says one evening. "The team is broken, and Buck is the general of this war. He doesn't fight Spitz openly yet, but he tells the others to be bad. Spitz is getting smarter and more dangerous. He is a silent killer now. He does not attack dogs when Francois is looking. He waits until Francois is away or busy. Then Spitz quickly bites a dog and runs away. Every time Francois hears a bark or a fight, he jumps up and runs to the dogs. He is waiting for the big battle. "I cannot stop them," Francois tells Perrault. "Spitz is waiting for a chance to kill Buck, and Buck is waiting for a chance to destroy Spitz. I must be ready with my whip every minute." Perrault looks at the dark forest. "It will happen soon, Francois. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. But when it happens, only one of them will come back to the sled." Francois nods. He checks his whip and his boots. The piece is gone. The Song of the North. Francois and Pero wait for the big fight between Buck and Spitz every day. But the fight does not happen yet. The team is busy, and finally they reach Dawson. Dawson is a busy place with many people and hundreds of dogs. There is a lot of work and many trips, but the most interesting thing happens at night. Every evening, when the moon is high and the air is freezing, the dogs in Dawson begin to howl. These dogs are the children of wild wolves. Their song is not a bark. It is a long, sad, and beautiful sound. They howl about the old times, the cold forest, and the wild world. Buck sits in the snow and listens. He hears this sound from every side of the town. Suddenly, Buck lifts his head. He opens his mouth and joins the song. Oh, oh. Buck howls for the first time in his life. It is a long, sad, and beautiful sound. It is not a bark. It is the music of the wild. When Buck says, "Awoo," he feels something strange. He forgets about his warm house in the south. He forgets about his master. He feels that he is not just a pet. He is a wild animal. He is a part of the North. Inside Buck, something old is waking up. It is the spirit of his ancestors, the wild wolves of the past. The race for the record. After 7 days in Dawson, the team is ready to go back. They must return to Daya. Perrault has very important letters. He wants to be the fastest in the North and set a new world record. Everything is good for a fast trip. The dogs are strong after a week of rest. The snow on the path is hard, so the sled moves quickly. Also, they have no heavy food on the sled. Why? Because the police just opened new food stations on the road. When the team traveled to Dawson, these stations were not there. But now, they can get food for men and dogs at every stop. The sled is empty and very light. But there is a big problem for Francois. The team is not a team anymore. Because of Buck's rebellion, the dogs are messy. They do not work together, and they do not listen to Spitz. They are not afraid of the leader now. One evening, Pike steals half a fish from Spitz. Buck stands next to Pike and protects him. Spitz is angry, but he cannot do anything. Pike eats the fish in front of him. Another day, Dub and Joe attack Spitz together. They hit him hard. Even Billy, the nice dog, is not friendly to Spitz anymore. Buck is the worst. He acts like a real bully. He walks in front of Spitz and shows his teeth. He growls and makes his hair stand up. He is proud and loud. Francois is worried. "Look at them," he tells Perrault. "Spitz is the leader, but no one follows him. Buck is the king of the camp now. The big fight must happen soon. I can feel it in the air." The sled is fast, but the war inside the team is getting ready to explode. The Great Fight. The dogs have too much energy. They are not tired because the sled is light. This makes the rebellion even worse. Francois has a lot of trouble. The dogs fight, play, and do not work. They are like a bomb ready to explode. One night, near the mouth of the Taquini River, they see something in the snow. It is a big white rabbit. In 1 second, the whole team starts to run. They are not pulling the sled now. They are hunters. Buck is at the front. He loves the hunt. He feels the old blood of his ancestors in his body. He is fast, but Spitz is also fast. Spitz is clever. He does not run behind the rabbit. He takes a shorter way. Suddenly, Spitz jumps. He catches the rabbit and kills it. Buck is furious. This is his hunt. This is his rabbit. He cannot stop now. He jumps at Spitz with all his power. Francois sees them in the moonlight. "Here it is," he cries, "the big fight." This is a fight to the death. Spitz is a professional killer. He is fast and he has many tricks. He bites Buck's shoulder and his ear. Buck is covered in blood, but he does not stop. He tries to bite Spitz's neck, but Spitz is like a shadow. Buck realizes he cannot win with only strength. He must be smarter. He remembers how the wolves fight. He jumps at Spitz's shoulder, but then, suddenly, he changes direction. He hits Spitz's leg. Crack! The leg is broken. Then Buck hits the other leg. Crack! Spitz falls into the snow. He is afraid for the first time. The other dogs stand in a circle and watch. They are waiting for the end. Buck jumps one last time. The fight is over. The old leader is gone. Francois looks at the dark snow. Spitz was a professional, but he is finished now. He looks at Buck, who is standing tall in the moonlight. Buck's eyes are bright. "Look at Buck," Perro answers. "He is the real boss now. He has the spirit of 2 dogs in one body. No one can stop him." "Yes," Francois whispers. Buck wants to be the leader. The next morning, the camp is quiet. Spitz is gone, and the dogs are waiting. Francois brings the harness to start the day. He calls Solex to the front. He wants the old, experienced dog to be the new leader. "Solex, come here," Francois shouts. "You are the leader now." Solex walks to the front, but suddenly Buck jumps at him. Buck is furious. He pushes Solex away and stands in Spitz's place. Francois is surprised. He laughs and says, "Look at Buck. He thinks he is the boss now." "But no, Buck. You are a great fighter, but Solex is a better leader. Go back to your place." Francois tries to move Buck, but Buck does not move. He growls, a deep, dangerous sound. When Francois tries to grab him by the neck, Buck jumps back. He doesn't want to fight Francois, but he refuses to obey. Okay. Francois is getting angry now. He takes a heavy club. "Get to your place, Buck. or I will hit you." Buck remembers the man in the red sweater and the club. He stays away from the wood, but he does not go to his old place. He runs around the sled, stays 2 meters away, and looks at Francois. His eyes say, "I killed the leader. I must be the leader." 1 hour passes, then 2 hours. Francois and Perrault cannot start the trip. Every time they put Solex at the front, Buck stops them. He jumps, growls, and does not let Solex work. Perrault is very nervous. He walks up and down in the snow. He looks at his watch every minute. "Francois, we are losing time," Perrault shouts. "I wanted to set a new record. We need to be the fastest in the north, but we are just standing here. This dog is ruining my plan." I know, Francois answers. He is also stressed, but Buck is stubborn. He doesn't want to move. "We must go now," Perrault cries. "The mail is important, and the record is important. Do something. Hit him, move him, or make him the leader. Just start the sled." Finally, Francois throws the club on the snow. He looks at Perrault and shrugs his shoulders. "I cannot beat him all day," Francois says. "He is a devil." But he is right. He won the fight. Francois calls to Buck. "Fine, you win. Come here, you big boss." Buck doesn't run immediately. He walks slowly and proudly. He waits until Solex moves back. Then he stands at the front of the team. He is not just a sled dog now. He is the leader. The best leader ever. When the team finally starts, Francois and Perrault are shocked. They expected trouble, but they see a miracle. Buck is a natural leader. He is much better than Spitz. Under Buck's command, the team moves like one fast machine. He doesn't just bite the other dogs, he makes them want to work. Even the lazy dogs change. Pike, who always hides, is now working very hard. "Look at Pike," Francois shouts. "He is pulling like a giant." And Joe, the sour and angry dog, is now quiet and strong. Buck punishes them quickly if they make a mistake, but he is always fair. The sled is not just moving, it is flying. They are traveling faster than ever before. "I have never seen anything like this," Perrault says. He is checking his watch and smiling. "We are making 40 miles a day, then 50. This is not just a record, Francois. This is history." Francois watches Buck from behind. He sees how Buck keeps the line straight. He also sees how Buck helps the tired dogs to keep going. When a dog is tired or sad, Buck gives them energy. "He is worth $1,000, Francois says. "No, 2,000. He is the best dog in the north. He has the brain of a man and the heart of a wolf." Goodbye, Francois and Perrault. One morning in Skagway, the journey is over. Francois and Perrault receive new orders from the government. They must leave the team. Their work with the mail is finished. A new man comes to take the dogs. He is a Scotch half-breed, and he works for the heavy salt mail. This means the dogs will have a much harder life now. Francois calls Buck to him. He puts his hands on Buck's big head. For a moment, the tough man is silent. He doesn't want to leave his best dog. "Well, Buck," Francois says with a sad voice, "you are the best leader I ever had. We traveled many miles together, and you never failed me." Francois looks at Perrault. Perrault also looks sad. They know that life with the new master will be difficult. The sled will be heavier, and there will be no more records. "Goodbye, old fellow," Francois whispers. He hugs Buck's neck one last time. Then Francois and Perrault walk away. They don't look back. Buck watches them until they disappear. He feels a cold sadness in his heart. These men were fair, and they were his partners. Now, the flying team has a new master. The work is hard, the snow is deep, and the fun is gone. Buck is just a worker now, pulling a very heavy sled day after day. He is tired, but he remembers the lessons of the North. Keep going. Never stop. The work is terrible. Every day is the same. Wake up, pull the heavy sled. There is no fun, no racing, and no rest. Now the road is never ending. For weeks and months, they travel across the North. They have already traveled 1,800 miles without a real break. Imagine their bodies. Once they were strong and beautiful. Now their muscles are like old dry ropes. You can see their bones through their skin. They are not the flying team anymore. They are just shadows of dogs. Every time they arrive in a town, Buck thinks, "Finally, the mail is delivered. We can sleep for a week." But he is wrong. There are already hundreds of new letters waiting for them. The pile of mail never gets smaller. After only 2 days, the master shouts, "Mush! Back to the ice! More people are waiting!" When they finally arrive in Skagway, the dogs are dead tired. They cannot run. They can only walk slowly, with their heads down. They are exhausted to the bone. The government looks at them and says, "These dogs are finished. They are broken tools." In the past, Buck was worth a fortune, maybe thousands of dollars. But now, the government sells the whole team for almost nothing. They are sold like old trash. This is the moment when the new masters appear. Hal, Charles, and Mercedes. They are from the South, and they know nothing about the North. They don't see the champions. They only see a group of dirty, thin, and very cheap dogs. The new masters are fools. Buck and the team are exhausted. Their legs are weak, and they are very thin. They need a long rest, but they don't get it. 2 men from the South, Hal and Charles, buy the dogs. They have a woman with them, Mercedes. They have never lived in the North. They think it is an easy adventure. When Buck looks at their sled, he cannot believe his eyes. It is huge. It is full of heavy tents, dishes, clothes, and even flower pots. "Is the sled ready?" Hal asks. He is a young man with a big knife and a gun. "Yes," Charles answers, "but the dogs look very tired." "Nonsense!" Hal shouts. "They are just lazy. Watch this." Hal picks up his whip. Crack! "Go! Mush! Move!" he screams at the dogs. Buck pulls with all his power. The other dogs pull too, but the sled does not move. It is like a mountain of wood and cloth. A man from the town walks by and laughs. "Hey you!" he calls to Hal. "The sled is too heavy, and the runners are frozen to the snow. You must break them loose first." Hal is angry. "Mind your own business," he shouts. But he tries to break the ice under the sled. Finally, the sled moves a little. "See?" Hal says proudly. "They just needed a whip." "But look at them," Mercedes cries. "They are suffering. Poor dogs. You are too cruel, Hal." "Be quiet, Mercedes," Hal snaps. "Dogs are just machines. They must pull." The team starts to move slowly out of Skagway. They are not the flying team anymore. They are a dying team. Buck looks back at the town for the last time. He feels that this journey will be a disaster. These people do not know the North, and the North does not forgive mistakes. The most dangerous journey. The sled is ready, but the dogs do not move. They are too weak, and the load is too heavy. "Mush! Move!" Hal screams. He hits the dogs with his whip. Crack! Crack! Mercedes starts to cry. She is a very loud and noisy woman. She is always moving and making trouble. "Stop it, Hal!" she screams. "You are hurting my poor dogs. Oh, my poor dear dogs." Charles and Hal start to argue. They shout at each other. People in Skagway stop to watch. They laugh at the new masters. Finally, one man says, "Listen, fools, that sled is a mountain. You have too many things and not enough dogs. Leave your heavy junk here, or buy more dogs. Your team is dying." "Mind your own business," Hal shouts. But he knows the man is right. They start to throw things away. Mercedes is furious. When Charles takes her heavy clothes and big boxes, she starts to cry. "You cannot take my things," she screams. "I need my dresses. I need my dishes. You are cruel men." She sits on the snow and refuses to move. She says she will never get up. She wants to stay there. Finally, Charles buys 6 more dogs. Now they have 14 dogs in one team. The new dogs are outsiders. They are not strong like Buck. They are soft, afraid, and they know nothing about the sled. Buck looks at them and feels even more sadness. He knows the truth. 14 dogs are too many for one sled. Why? Because the North has a strict rule. One sled cannot carry enough food for 14 dogs. If the dogs eat, there is no food for the humans. If the humans eat, the dogs starve. "Now we have a great team," Hal says proudly. He doesn't understand the danger. 14 dogs, we will fly to the gold. The journey begins. They move out of Skagway, but they are not flying. They are crawling. 14 hungry dogs, 3 noisy people, and a sled that is still too heavy. They are moving toward the melting ice of the Takini River. The journey is a nightmare. The sun is hot and the snow is soft. This is rotten ice. It is very dangerous. But for the dogs, the biggest problem is hunger and a terrible, heavy tiredness. They cannot rest, and their bodies are exhausted. Hal made a big mistake. He has 14 dogs, but he does not have enough fish. "We must give them less food," Hal says one morning. "But they are already starving," Charles answers. He looks at the dogs. They look like walking skeletons. "If we give them more food, we will have nothing to eat ourselves," Hal shouts. Because of this, Hal breaks up the last fish into tiny, small pieces. It is not a meal. It is only a taste. The dogs' stomachs are always empty, and their energy is gone. As a result, the outsiders, the 6 new dogs, begin to fail first. They were not born for this cold life. One night, the youngest dog starts to shake and cannot eat. He was gone by morning. The journey continues like a nightmare. Day after day, the dogs disappear one by one. First the weak, then the sick. The team gets smaller and smaller every mile, and every time a dog falls, the others have to pull even more weight. They are not a team anymore. They are just walking skeletons in the middle of a white desert. To make matters even worse, Mercedes stops walking. She is tired and refuses to move. "I cannot walk anymore," she cries. "My legs hurt. I want to ride on the sled." "No, Mercedes, the dogs are too weak," Hal says. But Mercedes screams and cries. Finally, she jumps on the sled. Now the dying dogs must pull the heavy load and a heavy woman. This is the end for many of them. Finally, only 5 dogs are left from the 14. Buck is the leader, but he has no power left. His ribs show through his fur. His feet are bleeding. He is not angry anymore. He is only very, very tired. They are not a team anymore. They are just walking skeletons in the middle of a white desert. After many days of travel, they reach the camp of John Thornton at White River. The situation there is terrifying. The ice on the river is moving, and you can hear the water underneath. It sounds like a hungry monster waiting to swallow them. When John Thornton sees the exhausted team, he realizes the danger immediately. "Stop!" he shouts. "The ice is melting. It is too dangerous to go across." But Hal is too proud to listen. He looks at Thornton and laughs. "People told us we could not reach White River, but we are here." "They told you the truth," Thornton answers quietly. The river is changing. The bottom can fall out at any moment. Only fools with great luck could come this far. I tell you, I would not go on that ice for all the gold in Alaska. Hal ignores the warning. Instead of listening, he picks up his whip. Crack! "Get up, Buck! Mush! Move!" However, the dogs are too weak to move. They only stand up after Hal hits them many times. It is a slow and painful process. Solex gets up first. Then Joe screams in pain but stands up too. Pike tries twice and falls, but on the third try, he finally stands. But Buck does not move. He lies quietly in the snow. He is not fighting. He is just finished. The whip hits him again and again, but Buck does not cry. John Thornton looks at this. He bites his lip. He wants to say something, but he waits. There are tears in his eyes. He stands up and walks back and forth. He cannot watch this cruelty. Hal is furious. This is the first time Buck has failed him. He puts down the whip and picks up a heavy club. He starts to hit Buck with the club. Buck feels the heavy blows, but he refuses to move. Like his friends, he is dying. But unlike them, he has decided. He will not get up. Under his body, he can feel the thin ice. He can feel the cold water waiting. He chooses to die here, on the land, and not in the dark river. This was the first time Buck failed to obey, and it made Hal furious. He puts down the whip and picks up a heavy club. He starts to hit Buck with terrible, heavy blows. John Thornton watches this, and his heart breaks. At first, he tries to stay quiet. He stands up and walks back and forth. But when the club hits Buck again, Thornton cannot stop himself. Suddenly, with a loud cry, he jumps between Hal and Buck. He pushes Hal back with great strength. Hal falls into the snow. "If you hit that dog one more time, I will kill you," Thornton screams. He is shaking with anger. "It's my dog," Hal answers, getting up. He wipes blood from his face. "Get out of the way, or I will go over you. I'm going to Dawson." Thornton does not move. He stands over Buck like a wall. He has a knife in his hand. He is ready to fight. Hal looks at the knife, then at the strong man, and finally he looks at the dying dog. He decides it is not worth the fight. "Fine," Hal spits on the snow. "We don't need him. He is almost dead anyway." Hal turns back to the sled. He shouts to the other 4 dogs, and they slowly pull the sled onto the ice. Mercedes is sitting on the sled, and Charles is walking behind. Buck and Thornton watch them go. They are silent. They see the sled moving slowly across the white ice. Hal is shouting, and the 4 exhausted dogs are trying their best. Mercedes is a heavy weight on the sled, and Charles is walking carefully behind. Suddenly, it happens. They see the back of the sled drop down. It looks like it is falling into a hole. Then they hear a terrible sound, the sound of ice breaking like glass. Mercedes screams. Her voice is high and full of terror. Charles turns around to run back, but it is too late. In 1 second, a large piece of ice turns over. The sled, the dogs, and the 3 people disappear into the black, freezing water of the White River. Then there is only silence. The wide, white river looks the same as before, but the sled and the people are gone forever. John Thornton looks at Buck, and Buck looks at Thornton. "You poor fellow," Thornton whispers. He looks at Buck's bleeding feet and his thin body. Buck licks Thornton's hand. He knows that this man saved his life. The long journey with Hal and Charles is over. Love and healing. Spring is everywhere at John Thornton's camp. The sun is warm, the birds are singing, and the snow is gone. In this beautiful place, Buck begins to heal. At first, Buck is too weak to do anything. He lies in the sun all day and watches Thornton. He is like a shadow of a dog. But John Thornton is patient. He treats Buck not like a worker, but like a friend. "Rest, Buck," Thornton says softly. He gives Buck the best meat and fresh water. Slowly but surely, Buck's strength returns. His muscles get big again, and his fur becomes thick and shiny. But the biggest change is in Buck's heart. In the North, Buck learned the law of club and fang. He learned that men are masters who hit or feed. But with John Thornton, it is different. For the first time in his life, Buck feels love. It is a deep, strong love. When Thornton speaks, Buck's heart jumps. When Thornton touches his head, Buck feels a great peace. Sometimes Buck sits for a long time and looks at Thornton's face. He is afraid that Thornton will disappear like his other masters. Because of this fear, he follows Thornton everywhere. Thornton has 2 other dogs, Skeet and Nig. Skeet is a little Irish setter. She is very friendly. She washes Buck's wounds with her tongue every morning. Nig is a huge black dog with kind eyes. They are not like the dogs in the sled team. They don't fight. They play. They welcome Buck into their family. Buck is finally home. Buck is now strong and healthy, but he is more than just a dog. He is John Thornton's guardian angel. Soon, stories about Buck's bravery spread across all of Alaska. The first rescue, the fight at the bar. One day, in a crowded bar, a bad man named Black Burton starts a fight with John Thornton. Burton hits Thornton, and he almost falls to the floor. Suddenly, Buck flies through the air like a storm. He attacks Burton to protect his master. People are shocked. No one can touch Thornton when Buck is near. From that day, everyone knows, do not touch John Thornton. Later, they are traveling on a river with dangerous, fast water, rapids. Thornton's boat hits a rock and flips over. Thornton is pulled into the freezing, wild water. "Help, Buck, help!" Thornton shouts. Without a second of rest, Buck jumps into the rapids. He swims with all his strength against the powerful water. He reaches Thornton, and Thornton grabs Buck's tail. Buck pulls him to the shore, saving his life for the second time. Both are exhausted and cold, but they are alive. The most famous story happens in Dawson. A man bets Thornton that Buck cannot pull a sled with 1,000 pounds, 450 kilograms of flour. It is an impossible weight. "I bet $1,600 that my dog can do it," Thornton says, though he is nervous. The whole town comes to watch. The sled is frozen to the ice. Thornton kneels next to Buck. He whispers in his ear, "As you love me, Buck, as you love me." Buck barks. He pulls. His muscles are like steel. Crack! The ice breaks. The sled starts to move. Inch by inch, Buck pulls the heavy load 100 yards. The crowd is silent. Then they explode with cheers. Buck has won the bet. Now Buck is a legend. People offer thousands of dollars for him, but Thornton always answers, no, he is not for sale. The Call of the Wild. With the money from the bet, John Thornton, his partners Hans and Pete, and the dogs head east. They are looking for a place where no white man has ever been. They want to find the famous lost cabin and a river full of gold. They travel for many months, moving deeper into the unknown. They cross tall, snowy mountains and walk through deep, dark forests where no human foot has stepped for years. There are no roads, no houses, and no maps. Every day is a new adventure. They travel light. They carry only some salt, a little flour, and their tools for finding gold. They do not buy food. They hunt for it. Every evening, they find a place to sleep under the open sky. They build a big fire to keep the wild animals away. The men are very patient. In every valley they find, they stop at the rivers. Thornton takes a large metal pan and fills it with water and sand from the bottom of the stream. He shakes the pan slowly. "Look, Buck," he whispers. "Is there any yellow dust?" They move from river to river. Sometimes they find a few grains of gold, but it is not the famous lost cabin. So they pack their bags and move again. They follow the sun and the stars. They cross frozen lakes and climb rocky hills. Buck loves this life. He is not pulling a heavy sled anymore. He is a hunter. He spends his days smelling the wind and looking for tracks in the mud. The forest is like a giant book, and Buck is learning how to read it. He feels stronger and more alive than ever before. While the men work with their gold pans, Buck wanders deep into the forest. He is not a pet anymore. He is becoming a part of the wild. Buck becomes a great hunter. He learns to wait for a long time, as still as a rock, watching a squirrel or a bird. He practices his old, ancient skills. Sometimes he follows the tracks of a large moose for many miles, testing his strength and his patience. He loves the smell of the damp earth and the pine trees. The forest is his playground and his school. He swims in the cold mountain lakes and runs across the wide green meadows. Sometimes he lies on a high rock and looks down at the camp. He sees the small fire and the small men, and they seem very far away. He feels a strange power inside him. Every muscle in his body is hard and strong. In the wild, he is fast, he is smart, and he is free. He is happy to return to Thornton in the evening, but every morning the forest calls him back. One night, Buck wakes up in the camp. The forest is very quiet, but then he hears it. A long, thin howl. Oh! Oh! It is a high, lonely sound that vibrates in the night air. It is a sound he knows in his blood. Buck quietly leaves the camp and runs into the dark forest. He moves without a sound. Suddenly, in a small opening between the trees, he sees a shadow. It is a wolf. The wolf is smaller than Buck, but he looks lean and wild. The wolf stops and looks at Buck. He is afraid because Buck is huge and strong. The wolf runs away, and Buck follows him. They run through the moonlight for a long time. Finally, the wolf stops. He shows his teeth, but Buck does not want to fight. Buck moves slowly and friendly. He wants to show the wolf that he is a brother. Slowly, the wolf understands. They come close and smell each other. They are friends. The wolf howls again, and this time Buck howls too. The sound is loud and wild. It echoes through the mountains. The wolf starts to run towards the deep forest, and he looks back at Buck. He wants Buck to go with him. Buck is happy. He runs with his wild brother for many miles. He feels like he is finally where he belongs. But suddenly, Buck stops. He remembers something. He remembers John Thornton. The wolf waits, but Buck turns around. He cannot leave his master yet. He runs all the way back to the camp. When he sees Thornton, Buck jumps on him and licks his face. He is happy to be back, but now he has a secret. He has a brother in the wild. Buck starts to spend more and more time in the forest. Sometimes he stays away for one night, then for two, and finally for a whole week. He is caught between two worlds. In the camp, he is a loving dog. He licks Thornton's hand and sleeps by his side. But in the forest, he is a different animal. He is a killer, a hunter. Buck learns to hunt like a wolf. He does not need a man to feed him anymore. He catches fish in the streams and small animals in the bushes. One day, he even kills a large black bear. It is a dangerous fight, but Buck is faster and smarter. He feels a wild pride in his heart. His greatest challenge is the great moose. Buck finds a herd of moose and chooses the leader, a giant animal, much bigger than Buck. For 4 days, Buck follows him. He does not let the moose eat or sleep. He is patient, like a shadow that never leaves. Finally, the great animal is too tired to fight. Buck wins. He is now the strongest hunter in the North. Every time he kills, the call of the wild becomes stronger. He feels the blood of his ancestors in his veins. He wants to run forever with his wild brothers. But after every long hunt, he remembers John Thornton. He always comes back to the camp because his love for the man is still the strongest thing in his life. He does not know that this will be the last time he sees his master alive. Buck is returning from his long hunt. He feels proud and strong. But as he gets closer to the camp, the air changes. He stops. The forest is too quiet. He smells something fresh and terrible in the wind. It is the smell of blood. Buck starts to run. He does not hide. He flies through the trees like a black arrow. When he reaches the camp, he sees a nightmare. Hans is lying on the ground, dead. There are arrows in his back. Then Buck sees the Yeehaw Indians. They are dancing around the camp, shouting and celebrating. They have killed the men and the other dogs. Buck becomes a red monster. He does not feel fear. He only feels a terrible, burning anger. He jumps into the middle of the camp. The Yeehats are shocked. They see a giant, furry animal attacking them with the speed of lightning. Buck's teeth are like knives. He rips their throats and jumps from one man to another. The Yeehats try to shoot their arrows, but Buck is too fast. They think he is an evil spirit from the forest. "The ghost dog!" they scream in terror. They run away into the forest, leaving the camp behind. Buck does not follow them. He has only one thought. Where is John Thornton? Buck walks to the edge of the deep water. He finds Thornton's smell, but the trail ends in the river. He finds Nig, his dog friend, dead. Finally, Buck understands. His master, the man he loved more than life, is gone forever. Buck lies down by the water. The silence is heavy. The last tie to the world of men is broken. Everything is silent at the camp. John Thornton is gone, and the world of men is empty for Buck. He sits by the river for a long time, looking into the dark water. But then a sound comes from the distance. Oh! Oh! It is the call of the wolf pack. They are coming to the camp. Buck stands up. He does not run away. He waits for them in the moonlight. The wolves arrive. They see a giant, strange animal standing near the fire. They attack him, but Buck is a master of the law of club and fang. He is faster and stronger than any wolf. One by one, he defeats the leaders of the pack. Then, a lean wood wolf moves forward. It is Buck's wild brother. They touch noses and howl together. The other wolves understand. This giant dog is one of them. Buck turns his back on the camp forever. He jumps into the forest, running at the head of the pack. He is now their leader. Years pass. The Yeehats tell stories about a ghost dog that lives in the forest. They are afraid to go to that part of the valley. They say this dog is bigger than any wolf and smarter than any man. Every year, in the middle of summer, a great furry dog comes to the old camp at White River. He stays there for a moment, looking at the place where John Thornton died. He howls once, a long, sad sound, and then he returns to the wild. The call of the wild is finally answered. Buck is home.